Great. So, hello, my name is Matt. I work at Brainhub, a software development agency, and I'm here with Álvaro Martín, who is a senior technical director at Wildlife Studios. And today we are going to talk about gamify and blockchain gaming. But first things first, Álvaro, could you introduce yourself and the Wildlife Studios?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Álvaro Martín, Studio Technical Director. I just said already 17 years in the video game industry. And previously to be working at Wildlife, I was working at King as tech director of the whole engine technology. I did several games during this path, much more technology than games. And yeah, right now I'm working in Wildlife that hit recently his milestone of 1 billion downloads. And
Congrats.
basically, we have different organizations there, live games, new games, and Studio in a Box, yeah, which are um, like small pods that Wildlife act as a founder or VC, yeah. So that
Sure.
as a super fast introduction.
Okay, got it. Awesome. So let's get back to the NFTs. So, it's a hot topic recently. So, could you briefly ever explain like some of the basic concepts? So, like the NFT, GameFi, and why it became such an exciting topic right now.
Yeah. So in the video game industry, we always had this kind of need of digital property. There are games that I remember and I was playing, like Diablo, or
Yeah.
where you can sell and buy items from other players. Um, World of Warcraft. If someone played that game and you remember the mess that was around the gold in the game, yeah. And recently in the free to play game in mobile, um, basically people, as they had not an alternative, they were selling their accounts that were linked with their email address, yeah, instead of be able to sell different items. So in we pass from basically pay 60 80 euros per game for some hours of entertainment, to pay even more if we were engaged into the game with a free to play model, yeah. But in those models we didn't have this digital ownership, yeah. So all the revenues went directly to the developer, yeah, of the game, right? So with the blockchain, what we are experiencing is that real digital ownership of different items, lands in the game. Because I think the dream for everybody was, okay, I have this very unique item, and how you assure that is very unique and it's only available one or five in the whole game. Or for instance, this current how to say, this current madness with the prices of land in Decentraland or Sandbox and other games, Axie Infinity too, where you pay millions of dollars for that piece of terrain. No? So back in the days, companies were thinking that they need to be the unique sellers, and everybody, we need to trust on them. And we are passing through a model that giving freedom to the people and own those assets in the game, it's much more profitable than even free to play. Yeah. Some companies still hesitant to that, and some gamers still don't understand. So we are going to pass through a trust issue, I would say, in different companies where gamers will need to decide where they spend their money, yeah, and for what. So I think in the upcoming years we are going to democratize the gamer as a job, as a normal job. It will not be anymore like only the people that are in e-sport that has tons of money behind them. They can only earn money for a short period of time. Will be a daily job, like everybody can join to earn money. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that is going to disrupt the whole market, and we are going to see that with the disruption of technology, new companies will be in the top 10, and the old dinosaurs that didn't want to adapt because they were very comfortable with their business and very slow in innovate, they are going to, well, not die, but they are going to be very damaged in their revenue. Maybe this happened in 5 years to some companies, to the big ones maybe in 10, 15 years. Always will exist this model of pay 80 euros for a game. Always will exist free to play, but I'm sure the biggest market is going to be play to earn in the future.
Okay. But basically, the big companies are entering this market, right? Like Ubisoft, Epic Games, they are
Well,
trying to jump on this horse, I would say.
not so. What I believe they are doing is, hey, there is these crazy things about the NFTs. Why we don't say, instead of the people trust on us with, hey, this new weapon, yeah, now it's an NFT, yeah. So gamers, I bet, are not going to like that because again, if it's not a game totally based in the blockchain, people will not trust in those things to happen. So they will see it again as a pay to win mechanic or a layer on top of a game that is either broken or they have no benefits from it. So they are doing tiny steps, but this just because the people from product, I think they are thinking on, hey, I will invest a bit of money here as the return on revenue is really crazy. Let's adapt our games a bit in a cheap way to earn more money. And I think might or not work, but I think that's not the proper way, and they are going to be cannibalized by the experts, developers that are going to really base their games in the blockchain. But that's my guess.
Okay. Basically, yesterday I engaged in one discussion about the NFTs, and there were some concerns because, like, as you mentioned, I used to play Diablo, for example, and I remember the days when we were, buying the items, but it was like, outside of the game, so there was like the possibility of fraud and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And when I took this argument on, the guy, in response, he said that, so if that was happening like already 20 years ago, why now do we need the NFTs if they're, for example, consuming more energy? Like these are like the questions that arise there, and I'm wondering, like, what's your take on it?
yeah. The energy fat. I mean, I don't want even to enter there. Yeah,
Okay.
as it's already proven that the light of Christmas in United States only for the Christmas period pay the bills of mining Bitcoin, which is very expensive. So I think we need to discard that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a problem of trust, right? So if you want to do the same that the blockchain is able to do right now, or the different blockchains with different approaches and consensus mechanism, you will need to do an exchange like Binance or Coinbase or these things to be able to transfer your money into those items. And you need to do a kind of blockchain per company. The cost of that is huge. Yeah. And the people need to trust in you. So the companies that say, hey, we can do this trading inside, but you need a payment platform, connection with bank accounts, many other things that are already solved in the blockchain industry. Yeah. And on top of that, many of them in the past were hacked, decimated, people stole the tokens of the people and the value and whatnot. Yeah. So if the companies believe that they don't need it, the blockchain is just a database, they can do the same for the game, have fun with that. Because the blockchain industry, I think it started, we can say that it started in 2009 with the first version of Bitcoin. Um, They will need a lot to do to catch up, and will not be decentralized, which means you need to trust in the source. So, man, I will not trust big companies to store my value. Normally, right now, we are used to trust in banks, and I think people don't trust anymore on banks. I will not trust video game companies that are big or not, and they have, how can I put this in a soft way? They have not so good practices in the games with their users. So I cannot imagine what will happen if I store my hundreds of Ks or millions in their balance sheet or their kind of bank. Yeah. So it's a question of trust. We prove in the blockchain industry that the centralized trust done in a good way, mathematical way, is what the people are actually trusting, because there is more than 1 trillion. Is I think the market cap right now it's 2.3 trillions in total or something like that. So the technology works and the people trust on it.
So you see this as a direction for the basically game companies to build such an, I would say, infrastructure that will come with the trust.
I think video game companies are going to have to deal with the different blockchains and make it's like when you go to Amazon and you buy servers and you trust in their technology and whatnot. They will need to go to um, a blockchain and trust on them, buy a service. Yeah, like right now with Avalanche, the subnets, or in Polkadot, the parachains and this kind of stuff. No? Like it's built a blockchain on top of the blockchain, but it's your mini blockchain with all the trust and technology of the base layer. I don't think they are going to jump into create a blockchain in their own way. That will be a huge mistake, in my opinion.
Also, among these comments, one of the guy mentioned, but it also is connected with the trust. But like he said, like, because I said that this is like the experimental phase, you know, that like the companies and people are trying to figure out the best way to make use of NFTs and like how to implement them to benefit both the players, I would say, and themselves. And the guy said, on the other hand, like for him, this is like the giant Ponzi scheme, and like this is, yeah,
Okay, okay, another. That's the typical thing, right?
yeah.
So, okay, let me address that. First is the Ponzi scheme, but what was the initial real question? I will address both. I think there is another one.
And not really. Basically,
Yes,
that
say that again.
I mean, I said that basically we were coming from the place that we're in the like experimental phase where the
Yeah.
companies are trying to figure out a way where how to implement the NFTs and all the
So
stuff around that.
big companies today, the dinosaurs that don't want to adapt and embrace the blockchain technology, are going to try to use the blockchain as a Ponzi scheme where they always win. Yeah. And they are going to fail. And regarding the Ponzi scheme, first, it's impossible that it's a Ponzi scheme because the intrinsic scam of a Ponzi scheme is that you enter money, you cannot freely remove it when you want and when you want. Yeah. And in the scheme, to continue working, you need more people paying more money so you can take your money out. The first part, what I told you, is what banks do. You cannot do a transfer after 2 p.m. of thousands of dollars. You cannot do a transfer at 6 a.m. in the morning. So in that regard, we can consider half Ponzi scheme already the banks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true. And they do that because when you are not able to remove your money during the night, they are making profits with all the millions. Yeah. So they allow you to move your money in a short window of time. That doesn't happen with the blockchain. That's why they are going to die if they don't adapt. Yeah, slowly and painfully. Yeah, and so what's thinking in the underlying argument of the Ponzi scheme, like, hey, people are going to do Ponzi's and really bad stuff to scam people. Yeah, we see it every day, all over the place. Yeah, when you have no good game developers or whatever they developed on top. Yeah, so is the decision and the knowledge of the developers be able to build a proper economy? Because it's not only the NFTs. NFTs at the end is just a unique pseudo random number that identifies something that is unique. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can say there is one of five of these, or there is only one of these. Yeah. Um, and then you have different assets or tokens to replace the current games like gems, gold coins, or in StarCraft, the mineral and gas, this
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. So if you build the economy in a way that is robust enough, and the economy is not broken since the beginning, that thing will work. And the proof that we know that is Bitcoin and another ones, yeah. But we can focus on Bitcoin, yeah. You can no, nobody can argue that Bitcoin doesn't work or it's a Ponzi scheme. And if they do, they better review their arguments. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but understanding that that value, for instance, Axie Infinity, I consider the economy of Axie Infinity completely broken because the mechanics in the game. We need to understand that this was the first game. Yeah, they passed through tons of technical challenges, and they were the first to be really hugely successful. So I think in the blockchain industry and the future GameFi or however we want to call these crypto games, we should be very grateful for what they did. Yeah, but their economy it's very based not in a Ponzi scheme, but in a scheme that people can earn tokens in a stupid way, huge amount of tokens that is not really well supported by some intrinsic value that you need to give to those assets. Yeah, so you need tons of people buying to have a counter measure of that liquidity that you are giving to other people that doesn't bring value to their market. So what I want to say, Axie Infinity is a case of success and a case to really learn. And I understand when some people say, oh, this might be a Ponzi. More than a Ponzi, it's a kind of a snowball that is not well balanced, will explode sooner or later. Yeah. Um, but again, intrinsically and thinking about the principle of the Ponzi scheme, it is not a Ponzi scheme. You decide when you buy, you decide when you sell. You are free to do it whenever you want, in the moment you want. So it's impossible to be a Ponzi scheme.
Okay, I get it. And like, so like you're saying that basically it's about like structuring the economy in the right way,
Yeah.
and like the thesis is that having Bitcoin and like understanding the Bitcoin and like thanks to this proof, it's possible to do the similar structure in in the game.
Yeah, I think so. For instance, one of the game designs I have. So we need to maybe talk a bit about how the value is generated in Bitcoin super fast. So you have machines doing a proof of work. Yeah. So when I want to send you my Bitcoin, yeah, they are going to validate all of them, all the machines. They are going to validate. It is more complex, but they are all going to validate that I have those assets, that I did the right thing, that is not a scam, and so on and so forth. And they are going, all of them, or the winner, let's say, of that block, will going to write that in an annotation that I did to you the transaction. So will subtract from my wallet and will appear in your wallet, taking a fee. And by the network, because this is how they do, they mine the Bitcoin because the network give them an extra reward to incentivize to pay for the bills of electricity, have them grow their business, the machines. So more the miners grow, more security you put on the network. Yeah, until Bitcoin will kind of finish the mining,
Yeah.
so they are going to survive with the transaction fees, and at that point Bitcoin value will be super huge, so even a very little reward or transaction fee in Bitcoin will be very valuable. Yeah, so all right, so in one of my game designs I'm trying always to think about this Nakamoto's principle, which I think is very interesting, very simple, and very powerful. So in one of my game designs, I have an RTS. Yeah, you can imagine, for instance, StarCraft. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not exactly like that, but so you have the land, and the land have the. Let me put it with Bitcoin. Yeah, it's not totally unreal, but to make the cement, the land has Bitcoin. So your NFTs are robots that are unique but different because they can be attached different tools, yeah, to mine faster or to maybe collect gas faster, or they have a weapon to defend themselves at the same time, things like that. Yeah. So that NFT will be a part of the different levels and uniqueness. That NFT, that robot, will be able to mine from your terrain a certain amount of Bitcoin during the year. Then every year, instead of four, I have programmed the halving on those Bitcoins that will be in the land. Yeah. So the land has a value, like the value of, I don't know, an oil or a
Yeah. Yeah.
nuclear
Yeah. I get it.
station or something. Yeah. And the miners and the users are doing a proof of work. So the miners might be the parallel of or the similar of GPU, yeah, and you are going to do the proof of work. Why? Because you invest time and effort to be connected in front of your computer, yeah, and be directing and managing your units to be mining that
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the moment you have a strong mechanic like that, then you start building on top of that the real value of those NFTs. So if the workers are able to mine what they have in my terrain has a high value, more that they are able to mine, it has more value. Yeah. And then you start building mechanics of the game on top. Like, hey, for instance, if you surpass level 10, now you can attack other lands, yeah, and you can be attacked. So, hey, better you have more people working with you in your terrain and you do a guild, yeah, to defend and attack, yeah. And then if you allow other people that doesn't have so much money like you have, because let's imagine that a piece of land costs 1 million, but you are going to extract the first year, I don't know, 400% more Bitcoin from your land, yeah, or whatever the token, yeah. And then your NFTs are very valuable because they mine also really fast, yeah. But you cannot mine all the Bitcoin yourself, yeah. There are some sort of game limitation and these kind of things, yeah. So I need you to join me in my land to mine, defend, and attack with me. But you don't have 1 million to buy the land, so you are now in my guild. And I tell you, hey, you can mine Bitcoin, but I will tax you, I don't know, 30% in everything you do. And you will say, hey, but you tax like the government. It's terrible idea because in crypto, we don't like that. True. So what's the mechanic that you can build on top of that? So wherever me as a commander or owner of that terrain, yeah, I will allow you, yeah, by the game mechanic that you are able to use my NFTs that I have in a common treasury or something.
Yeah.
So you will be able to build your own NFT without paying money. And people will think, okay, but then what is the how is this guy able to earn money for free? It's not for free. You are doing a proof of work for me. Like if I have a business and you are doing something for me. So I outsource that effort, or I multiply my effort to multiply my gains. Yeah. And the investment of everybody apporting, I don't know, 10% or 30% or whatever I decide to schedule for the people. Yeah. I will reinvest that money to be a better guild, have the best NFTs, and compete in a free market, a free world of that game, yeah, between us, and then you have the game done. Then you can imagine the other layers: attack, defend, and this kind of thing. Investigate technology, and so on and so forth. So you need to build in your tokenomics those kind of things. More the robots are your tokenomics, the better will be the economy of the game. It's like the economy before of the economy of the game. Yeah. If you don't have that, happen terrible things that, like Axie Infinity and other games. Yeah. Among, if you see a project that has like the 70% of all the token allocation are owned directly or indirectly from the developer, that doesn't smell very well. So you need to invest in projects, or at least is what I believe, that has good fundamentals.
Hmm.
And remember, for what the developer wants so much, so many tokens, if the game developer, we have the monopoly in our game of those token generation and so on. So the game developer should keep in their mind, I will so the players are going to generate the liquidity I need by mining my token, or buying in exchange. So the token will rise up. People like the miners of Bitcoin will dump a bit to pay the bills every month, and these kind of things. And making the game extra fun with fun mechanics, the company is going to remove that liquidity from the players. So if you don't need a whole bag that you will dump one day, yeah. So there are many things, but those are, I think, are the bare bones or the strong fundamentals, I would say.
Okay, nice. Last one question, and this is
Yeah.
also from the comments, because one person mentioned that, you know, the monetary profit drive will kill the fun. Like, this person considered.
You are putting all the typical topics. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Okay. All right. So, in my opinion, again, um, we need to respect the mentality of the gamers. Yeah. And when you don't know something, you are either scared or you don't like it, right?
true story. Yeah,
Yeah. So when you say, "Hey, the monetary incentive will kill the fun," I don't think so. You know why? Let me explain. And let me put an example that maybe people will really understand. Let's imagine for a second your favorite game, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, whatever it is. Yeah. And the recent thing that happened, that the people was hating those games because was hugely pay to win and whatnot. Yeah. In a way, Hearthstone is a hugely a pay to win. Yeah. So um, either they don't have that perception, but all the AAA games today, most of them, not all of them, are pay to win. Yeah. The big companies even bought and invest in mobile companies to learn how to do it. Let's don't enter there. Yeah. So if you as a developer of the game, you are doing those pay to win mechanics, you are doing bad things in the game, things that I really dislike a lot, that the game is becoming disgusting. Yeah. You know what is the power of the people that play that game? Go to the market and sell all their tokens. The price of that token will tank and the company will be dead tomorrow. You have not that power today to change any game. In a free market where we have we are voting every day. When you decide to go to a restaurant or to a bar to drink a coffee, if the coffee
exactly.
is terrible, you maybe go the next day and you say, still terrible. Yeah, but
True.
you say, hey, I will not vote you anymore. and I will go do another one, and you go do another one until you find a place that they treat you well, the coffee is fairly good, and so on and so forth. Yeah,
So you vote with the money actually.
yeah, but it's like that. The free market works because there is no one telling you you need to go there to that bar. You need to go that disgusting coffee because I'm telling you, or because there is a law that it's the only coffee you are going to drink, and you can only drink in between 9 a.m. and 12. Yeah, or something like that. So when you put the blockchain again, supposing that the product is good, is well built, tokenomics are good, yeah, the people are going to have the power of change to change that game and vote every day. Because when I stop investing in that game, when I stop playing that game, I'm affected directly the revenue and the business. What doesn't happen today in any game. And happened, by the way, with Axie Infinity. Now they don't have enough players to supply new liquidity to buy the token and dump like a more than 50% because the economy and the tokens cannot support their model. Yeah. So in the moment that the people lost interest because it's boring, because it's just click, 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 click to earn tokens. So people has no more interest than that.
Oh,
It's just pure
okay,
speculation.
cool.
So what I
Um,
want to say as a super resume, the games that are going to succeed in the future are going to be the most fun games, the games that keep the community engaged. And if that happens, a company will have no reason to close that game. I wish to play again Neverwinter Nights, but will not happen again, because economical reasons and so, but the people try to still use it. So I think there is a big misunderstanding, and good games with good fundamentals that are extremely fun will be profitable for really long years, and those games are going to survive. The game that sucks or they treat bad to the community, those ones are the ones that are going to die, and those companies with bad practices with the user are going to die or to decrease a lot. Yeah, but understand the hyperbolic way of communication.
okay. I think that's a perfect conclusion for this talk, I would say.
All right.
And also, there will be players who make a living out of playing. Uh,
Yeah, I think the model actually that I see in the future will be the free to play to earn. Yeah, where people that has no high income can be participant of the economy. As I told you, like, hey, I have tons of money. I invested in a land and all of those resources, but I don't have enough manpower like
yeah,
to do all the work. So hey, I want to hire you in a way. I want to hire you because you are a really good player, really good attacker. You are the best attacker in the game, or you have the most time to mine, or the best manager, and these kind of things. That is going to happen,
nice.
and the companies that understand it will succeed.
Cool. Looking forward to this, Alvaro. And well, like, thank you for this talk.
Sure.
Um, I'll
Looking forward to have another one. I don't know if you have
Yeah,
if you have
yeah,
enough.
yeah. I think we're going to have another one because, like, you got me curious about all of these topics. So basically, I'm going to, do the deeper research and probably get back to you. But I think that this is going to be after your holidays and my holidays, and so next year probably.
Whenever you want. I'm always happy to talk about crypto and gaming.
Perfect.